The Splitting Hairs Podcast. Go big, go blue, go Jacks.
This is the Splitting Hairs Podcast, Friday Night Football edition on Thursday. Thanks to all who are going to join or about to join or want to join or thought about joining because they were watching the FBS game with a couple of FCS teams. It's kind of interesting to see the landscape out there these days, gentlemen. But before we dive into all the goodness, we want to shout out our sponsors. This is the Splitting Hairs Podcast, as we mentioned, proudly sponsored by the Wild Hair of Brookings, South Dakota. Also, Team Umark Insurance, for those of you who are looking for help with insurance products that work with Medicare, get in touch with them, and they can help you out and clean up that process for you, get you set up in the right direction as it relates to your health and everything that entails. Also want to shout out Cottonwood Coffee and Bistro, Brookings, South Dakota. They've been with us since the beginning. I need a little bit of their Go Juice right now, maybe a little Glacial Till or their Ethiopian Roast. It would be lovely right now. I'm running on fumes. But we're going to get it done because, as Brian says, if you're juiceless, you're useless. So if you want to get a little bit of their product, go to the main location. You can also get some good studying in as midterms, or not midterms, finals are wrapping up midway through this year for students. You can also check out their bistro. They got great farm direct to table food, nice and fresh. They also have teas and lattes and all that good stuff. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to check them out at cottonwoodcoffee.com, where you can get set up with auto shipment direct to your door, so you can get your caffeine from Cottonwood Coffee whenever you need it. Thanks, fellas. Also, should shout out, the Wild Hair does have some specials going on this weekend, because if you didn't know, tonight is the eve of the eve before the big game. So want to run through some of these specials they've got going here. $2 pounders, game time exclusive only. $2 pounders, $3 double wells, $5 double premium liquors. And happy hour runs from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. That is game day. The semifinals will be shown. The Jacks squaring off with the Bison with an S in Fargo at the Fargodome. They're opening at 10 a.m. this Saturday. That's the Wild Hair in Brookings, South Dakota. So you can watch every play from start to finish with the boys. So get in, show your support with them, and cheer loud for the Jacks, the good guys. I did think it was pretty funny that they're going to be rocking gold, yellow, one of our colors at the game. Never fails to get some support from them and some confusion this year, looks like, on how to set up some color games. So that's kind of funny. Want to remind everybody, this is the pod where San Diego's not a state, Bison spelled with an S, and Wile E. Coyote never gets it done in the end. So in case you forgot, that's where we're at. That's who we are. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm geeked up right now. Like I said, yeah, I've been thinking about this game for a minute. Kyle, your mic kind of tweaking a little bit. I don't know what it is. Mason just hit me up about it. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I mean, for me,
now? We got it.
No, still kind of choppy.
Yeah, it's like spotty a little bit.
I was gonna say, I thought I was tweaking there for a little bit. All good.
But yeah, I mean, Brian, bro, what you thinking, man?
I mean, in my head right now, I'm just like, fuck these guys, honestly. But
talk to me nice, Brian. So the kids are in bed. Like, it's 10 o'clock, dude. I'll be honest.
This is a grown-up pod tonight.
Yeah, this is a late night pod. Your kids in bed, man. If they're not, bro, don't get them out of here, because I hate these guys. And I think, the way they handled that win the last time, with Cam Miller standing on the sideline doing his post-game interview almost in tears, and you hear NDSU fans tell us, like, oh, this is your Super Bowl. Like, we're trying to go to Frisco. But I'm like, I've never seen a Jackrabbit player cry holding the Dakota marker in my life. I saw Eli Mostert crying. I saw Cam Miller crying over, it's just me so much of the, like, bro, come on. So, like, I don't want to hear that come from us when you're like, oh, this is your Super Bowl. Like, this game means the same, if not more, to these guys, right? So like play it straight on both sides. Like this means something to you. Like don't act like it don't mean nothing when you lose. And then like when you win, you act like that. You know what I mean? I just feel like the Jacks are playing national championship football right now when in the beginning of the season they weren't, like if we're being honest. Right? I feel like coming off these last 2 weeks and what they've been able to display offensively and defensively, this is a whole different squad rolling in there because you think we had a lot of guys that didn't play that last game. Like Kirby didn't play last game. I don't think Brenner played that last game. Tucker Lars didn't play that last game, and I'm sure he had exception with a lot of stuff that went on. So, what you think?
Not only that, but the boys are fucking rolling with confidence right now. Things like the aura around the team is just different. Mart is walking out, playing his nuts off, honestly.
Letting them hang.
Letting it hang, you know what I'm saying? So I'm excited to see it.
Absolutely. It's just, early in the season, like we're ranked number 1 and whatever, and everyone's questioning how we're playing, and even some fans are like, we're just not playing like the number 1 team, not the best team in the nation right now. The last 6 weeks, probably, it's just, and granted, some of that's level of competition, but early in the season, we weren't even playing well against poor teams. So now it's like, God, just the way everything's clicking, it feels very similar to the end of the previous 2 years. And, not to be too overconfident, but it feels really, really, really good to be a Jackrabbit fan right now.
Yeah, I agree. My bad, Brian. You got it.
I mean, I was going to say these same people had Idaho at number 1. Okay. So, what are we listening to nowadays?
Right. No, and bro, like let's keep it a beam, bro. Like the people, I hope y'all come to our podcast because like we're actually telling you how football works, bro. I'm telling you, a whole bunch of these podcasts have no clue what they're talking about. I promise. You want to know why? Brian, we listen to them. And they're, I heard and this isn't a disrespect to anyone, right? And I'm not gonna say any names, but I heard a podcast comp, I think it was Adam Bach and Logan Kopp, right? Like this is a guy with almost 500 career tackles, and like what, like how many picks this year? Like 2, 3. I'm like, dude, like I understand that they have great players, but I'm like, you can't like disrespect like our guys who have put in a crazy amount of body of work like their entire career. And he's like, oh well, he's a freshman All-American. Like, yeah, they're about the same. Like, no, they're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure.
Hell no, right? Like you can't. What are you thinking, Brian? Because I'm all over the place. I'm fired up for this game, bro.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's nowhere going to be the same. Like people who are going to say it's going to be a low scoring game or it's going to be even. I don't see how the spread's only 3, -3, ±3. To be honest. Well, I get it. They're at home. They'll pump all their bullshit crowd noise into the stadium. Their fans really aren't that loud. And
right, how loud can you be with just 3 teeth, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And I think if the Jacks
I saw a lady with tobacco in her mouth last time I played there. So shout out to her.
Like I think that if the Jackrabbits come out and play a clean football game, like no turnovers, you know what I'm saying? Like putting the ball on the ground early. Like obviously, this team's better than Incarnate Word. Like we can't come in here like just because, we hate North Dakota State. Like we can't come in here and just like, discredit, everything they've been able to do this year. Cause like they've seen some adversity in the playoffs and have responded every single time. And I think that response begins with either their defense or Cam Miller. It begins and ends with both of them. Like they saw adversity against, what was it? Was that Abilene where Cobb got that strip sack? Or was that last week?
I don't know. I seen my brother throw a pick to a D lineman. So
yeah, that was insane. And I feel like, on the back end, I believe is what is like the biggest difference he's about to see, like from the Jacks as a whole, because you look at even how much Durant has grown this year like in that role and becoming like a true playmaker. You know what I'm saying? Like a true number one guy. You know what I'm saying? So like we're back there playing with two guys who are essentially number one safeties. You know what I mean? Tucker Lars is a whole different beast. You know what I'm saying? I believe he brings, you know, a different kind of intensity to the football team. Like it's like having your own version of Coach Rogers out there with you. This might be a little more insane. You know what I mean? I mean, you played with him, Brian. What'd you think of the intensity he brought to the game?
Dude, I just think, well, first off, even before what he brings to the game, he's just an amazing person, right? And I think that just translates to the field, how he carries himself in the weight room, just around everybody. You know, Tucker's like just a great locker room guy. I mean, typical white DB, you know.
Great locker room guy.
No, but seriously, man, he's awesome to be around. You know, he just plays it the right way, and not everybody plays the game the right way, and he never takes, you know, I don't think he takes like advantage of his opportunities, and not everybody can say that.
Yeah.
Right, just absolutely looks like a little firecracker and just fires everyone up around him. Like the first game he was back, you could just see the energy was different from everyone else when you were at the game. When he's on the field, the entire team plays differently. It's incredible to see, really. And lacking that, first time in the Fargodome, he'll be bringing that energy threefold probably, you know, once he gets his opportunity on Saturday.
Yeah, Kyle, you missed a little bit, man. We may have gone off the rails for a second there, pal.
We got to reel it back. We can talk shit.
Oh yeah, he's gone. He's gone again. Oh, bro, you know, while we're at it, right? While we're at it, about this, what was it?
Can you guys hear me better? Am I crispy?
Ooh.
Wait, say something else.
Try again.
I'm back. Am I crispy? Can you hear me?
A little bit.
We can hear you, but it ain't.
It's choppy. It like cuts out, and then you got a little chipmunk voice going on.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Is it?
Y'all keep it rolling. I'll get this.
All right.
So either way, but did you guys see that? I don't even know their coach's name. Like I haven't cared to put it to memory, but bro,
who's coach?
He was talking about that North Dakota State, where he was like, "Oh, we brought them to the swamp, the deep, murky swamps, to see if they could swim with us." I'm like, okay, dude, we all watch UFC, right? We all know a Khabib quote when we hear it, and you butchered it. I'm like, you don't bring people to deep waters when the score is 9-13, and you were losing most of the game. Like that's not the time to rip that quote, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really go like BTA on somebody, like that's when you rip that out. But like, you know what I'm saying? Just I feel like that's like the epitome of like what I don't like about North Dakota State. Just like, you know, you eke out a win like that, and a win is a win. Like, I'm not taking that away from them. Like, there's some guys on that team that made great plays, especially down the stretch, to win them that game. But like, as your figurehead, like as a head coach, like kind of saying like almost like the arrogance of like, yeah, like we really took it to them when that was like anybody's game. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the time where you say like, you know, there's a great squad, and you know they played great football, and we managed to, you know, win at the end. But like, bro, you're not bringing nobody nowhere.
Dude, Jimmy has the best. Like, he has the ability to drop the best one-liner ever, and all he has to say is, "How about that water, boys?" Don't say anything else. Walk away. Look crystal clear today, boys. Appreciate it.
Like, and like he was just freaking me out with that because he's just like over explaining the swamp. It's swamp and it's murky and bringing a deep. I'm like, bro. I'm like, dude. Like, who are you trying to fool? Right? I'm like, bro. You wrote that down on your hand. Like, you didn't just come up with that. Like, that's Khabib. Like, we all seen that before. Kyle, let's hear it one more time.
Like, trying to make us, like, he's referring to like trying to make us play their game, which we've been doing for the past 5, 6, 7 years with pretty decent success. So it's like, we've already been doing this. Why are you even saying that? I don't know. That felt like rah, try hard. I don't know. Just some way to pump up their guys in a way you really didn't have to. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I felt like too. Like it was just unnecessary, bro. Like a lot of the stuff was unnecessary, and I feel like a reason why we kind of didn't. I feel like we didn't like win the last time is like we kind of didn't play their game as much as they did. You know what I mean? Like we were going through the air a whole lot more. You know what I'm saying? And I think let's say the way we've been running the ball recently, bro. I feel like it's the same sentiment we were kind of talking about last time. Like they're gonna have to find a way to stop the run. Mm-hmm. Well, a full blown, healthy Jacks offense, where the offensive line has been playing the best that they have all year, with Amar playing ball, Angel who's come on this year, Kirby who's come on this year, Chase who's come on this year. Like, bro, you know what I'm saying? You could get if you really wanted, you could get a fresh guy in there to give him some go on the run every single play if you wanted to.
Yeah, and then you got Ogroski's emerging a little bit, and Goring's supposedly back. He's on the depth chart too again. Finally, I mean we have so many more weapons and options this time around than we did in October. So
yeah,
from ball game.
Let's check this out. We doing a little bit better, fellas.
It's rough still, but we could rock it.
Sounds the same.
So we might have to just sign.
You're muted.
Yeah, I can't hear you at all.
But
on top of all the offensive stuff, I just think the D line as a whole for SDSU just came together. Like the way Bryce Hawthorne's getting after it, Max is playing well. On top of all of that, and then you still have Jared DePriest.
Yeah, like it's bad. I mean, not it's bad, but I mean, like, I feel like this team's really coming to their own, and like that's really lame to say. Usually, we're like, oh well, last time we weren't playing Jackrabbit football. Like, I don't even think it's that. I really think that this team just kind of figured out who they are this year. I think our play calling has been better here down the stretch. I think it's been a lot better actually offensively. And like I think you're kind of starting to see those results in like these scores where we're scoring earlier and earlier, and God forbid we don't put the ball on the ground anymore. Like, bro,
yeah, right.
Now we got issues with Brian.
We better now, gentlemen.
Dude, I don't know what just happened.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, Kyle, we're gonna have to just power through it, man. You got it. Let's hear it.
All right, as long as y'all can hear me on the actual, we'll get the audio cleaned up a little bit. I don't know what's going on. Haven't touched it. Maybe it's all my house looks like a war zone. We're redoing the floors, but we'll have to get this all situated. It was a bummer I couldn't get on SDS Nation last night and talk about what's going to transpire in Fargo. I think if you look at the flow of the game and you look at both teams, obviously play similar styles of ball. Both teams want to possess the rock. Both teams want to historically establish the run game. Cam Miller is their guy, though, now. So it's kind of inherently built in to be a bit more one-dimensional, especially with us doing such a good job shutting down the run. So they're going to be more reliant on trying to get stuff going through the air. Is Tarmar going to get off the ground? Obviously, freshman of the year. I think Adam Jones should have taken the nod there, but Tarmar, good back. I don't know where the name's coming from. Maybe his parents were into Charizard. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. But it's kind of cool to see, the emergence of some new names that we know as a Jackrabbit base with Kirby, but he didn't get his run last time, right? So he was dinged up, had a little knee issue, but now by all accounts looks like the wheels are starting to roll. His legs look good. Obviously playing on turf, it's a bit different. You can get a little bit more leverage, but it's different, right? You got to pick your feet up, keep them moving so they can't roll and twist, rugby style tackle, and get you put in a vulnerable situation there. But I like him in short yardage. I think it's going to be really pivotal now that Mark stays on schedule. You look at the initial matchup, we were not winning on first down. We were not winning on first down. We had penalties that were establishing some real issues for us that were putting us behind the sticks early, and that's surmountable when they have a good defense. Logan Kopp's playing some good ball, and I'll be honest, I'd like to see Gus step up really well in this game because there were some times where I thought Mostert probably got the best of him. And I know there's no love lost from the Jackrabbit crew here, and you won't find us picking against them, that's for sure, in this game. But I think what you'll see is a more confident Jacks team, a more motivated team, because when you're looking at, 34 some FCS games we hadn't lost up to that point. Mm-hmm. Flows, law of averages, it was bound to happen somewhere. And of course, the confines of the Fargodome, that broke-ass mall, I think I saw it. Brian, you retweeted that fake account. That was hilarious.
Was good.
The internet's undefeated. I don't know who's out there doing that, but that's hilarious. Y'all should go follow that account. Was it Himmy Rogers or something like that? But anyways, it's a trip, man. It's I think the Fargodome will be rocking. It's a tough place to play on third down, so we can't get behind the sticks early. Is my point here.
Yeah, I think if the Jacks, like, you win the turnover battle plus possess the ball, no turnovers by our offense, score the first drive, I think you're sitting real nice. Like, you're sitting super nice because, like, guess what? I would like to bet my life that these guys, like, and I truthfully mean that. I would like to bet my life that they're not going to score on the Jacks defense on their first drive, right? So Jacks shooting that first. Bro, you can see how personal it's still oozing out of you. I love it. It really is, though.
The confidence. I love the excitement in this. So I personally think the game is going to still be in limbo early. I'd like the Jacks to start hot, but we have to use the sample that we got, right? I'm going to be the nerd on the podcast here. You have to use the sample you got. Jacks historically haven't started out with a bang. They've moved the ball really well a lot of times. This is that opportunity they have to do it, right? But what better time than now? They are peaking at the right moment. I do want to see who's going to emerge on the outside because Wildy's the guy, right? Wildy's the guy, and he's playing at an all-time high right now. We started to see, we don't even know where his ceiling is, right? So we've seen what that floor can be. Is it 10 catches like a UI dub? I don't know. We'll see what the game plan is rolling in. We have to work those first scripted plays, the first scripted series really well, and adjust accordingly. But I know Goring's got to emerge on the outside, be more consistent, snagging the ball. Oski's got to do his due diligence to find voids in the zone. And then, of course, we need to use the Alpers and Stoffel to be able to leverage the intermediate passing game that we weren't able to get off the ground in the initial contest. So I think, there's a lot in it, but Stack, I want to wind it back to one thing, and then we really need to dive into defense because that's the X factor, right? If you can't score, you can't win. But when you look at that stable of running backs we have, let's use that bad boy. Put all the horses out there. Let's see who's going to get that hot hand. Amar's been rolling lately, right? Like, Angel's had some instances where, like, he'll take off and he'll carry the load. Amar's carried the load. And then Kirby, obviously, we've seen him absolutely take over down south. So there's opportunity and it abounds in the running back room.
I think that, just the different kind of looks you can give them from, like, all of our different running backs is something that I believe if you really stick with the run game is going to be able to help us. Like, I'd say, like, in 22, like, when Amar started seeing a lot of success on, hitting it, like, backdoor. Like, this will be one of those games where that might be able to work for you. Like, with how Amar's been running the ball the last 3-4 weeks, like, he's been really hitting it downhill. And, like, if these guys watch film, like, they're a well-coached team, they watch film just like we do, they're going to be like, okay, like, we need to fill these holes, like, fast because, like, he's hitting it now, right? And after you get him on that, like, a few times in first, second quarter, like, second half, like, that cutback you like so much is going to be there. And it might not be for, like, a 60-yard bomb play. It's going to be a first down, right? And, you need all those you can get in a game like this.
Yep.
Exactly. What looks do we give? Like, do we get creative, get in our bag, do a pop pass? Do we, what's going to happen? I think they're both playing with house money right now, so to speak, right? Like, NDSU has not looked good. They've not looked like they've looked at different points in the season in the playoffs. And when I say that, it's not a shot to them as much as they're not playing to their standard, while we're emerging and kind of peaking towards our standard more and more, which is the goal, right? Especially in December. So when you look at different things you can do offensively, different formations, shifts and trades, those are going to be there. But how are we going to allow that penetration that they're good at on the defensive front? Are we going to use that against them? Pin and pull. We're going to do any whams on the 3-tech, with the tight ends, Stoffel and all. What are we going to do to get creative to use some of their flow against them? There was some real creative stuff I saw at Freud and Co. and Coach Olson on Saturday. I don't know if you guys saw the two.
Kyle, it's hard to hear you now. You might need to go on your phone here.
All right.
Because I just missed
y'all keep it rolling.
All right, cool.
Keep it rolling. Y'all just keep it rolling.
You got it.
I got you. It might be the cord too, where you like plug it in your computer.
Give it a little twist.
Yeah.
You sound like Coach Jack. A little twist. Oh, well, speaking of him, bro, he just got the bag, and I think Montana State gave those guys the beans. Not to look at the other side of the bracket right now, because we have a lot on our plate, coming up in a couple of days, but Montana State kind of looking a little bit. They're looking pretty legit as they come, I'd say.
Yeah, they run the ball really well. That freshman's really good.
Yeah.
I'd say their run defense is suspect, though. Like, if I had to see, like, one thing in their defense that was kind of, like, one thing on their team that was, like, the big glaring, I'd say it's their run defense. And, like, obviously that plays really well, like, against us, I believe. But,
it's a good matchup, yeah.
Right. But, I mean, we can't look past these guys. No matter, what we may say is overhyped. Fans who not playing the game this weekend, right? Because, like, it's easy to talk crazy. Like, I'm not playing no more. So, like, I don't got to worry about, whoever I'm seeing on their O-line. But, I'd say, Brian, like, we're this confident just because, like, of what we've been seeing, right? Like, I don't feel like I'm saying nothing that's, like, too crazy here. Like, when I say that, I think that they have a chance to really get after them up there. Like, just from, like, if they play the football they've been playing, and God forbid North Dakota State plays the football they've been playing, like, this version of the Jacks not going to give you a chance when you're down, 17-3. Like Mercer, or not Mercer, but like Abilene Christian, like, teams like that. Like, bro, you make those mistakes against these guys, you're getting finished. You're getting pantsed, right? Like, if you want to call that a warning to North Dakota State, like, hopefully they know that. But all those mistakes, like, picks thrown by Cam Miller, all that, like, if you want a shot here, you got to be done with all that. Like, I think their defense is going to come to play as usual, but I think our offense has a lot more weapons than we did, the first time. Everybody's looking more healthy. A lot of the younger guys that weren't really playing a whole lot have really come into their own. Like, I'd like to see Griff get busy this game. You know what I mean? But if it comes down to it, we just really got to run it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is what it is.
Well, there's a few times too, like if
let's get fucking 14 personnel heavy and just run the ball. I don't care if Mark goes 4 for 4 all game. If we run the ball, control the clock, I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I really like it too, because I think, bro, and with how our defense played last time, without one of your biggest heavy hitters on the back end, like Brian said, like, a lot of dudes really coming on these last few weeks, like your Bryce Hawthorne. Well, Bryce has really been like an all year. He's been progressively getting better. Like, Claiborne, who else? I mean, we're fully healthy at D-line with Zach is back. We got about four or five legit DNs we can roll in there. And I mean, I'm not Coach Bibb, so, like, I don't know how the role's gonna work, but, like, I'd like to imagine that, like, he's gonna lean on Jared a lot this game, right? Like, if it comes down to it, Jared's playing 50 snaps. He probably does already, but like 50 plus 60 snaps or something like that, Because I mean, even in the last game, I thought he stepped up big time. Like, he had like that 4th down stop when I think it was like a QB power or something. He tracked it down from the backside. But I mean, I feel like you're gonna get
trying to run QB power is actually insane, though. Shout out to those guys.
Right, not quite the 4th day. 4th and
I love their coach, by the way. He's awesome. Their coach. You see his post game interview?
Kilo?
Awesome dude. Yeah. Gave a whole lot of credit to, like, all the boys that played, gave credit to Jimmy. Yeah. Pretty much nothing like North Dakota State's coach, whom I don't like. I don't even know your name, bro. I don't like you.
It's kind of crazy though that the Calzetta guy gave this heartfelt speech, and you're just like, oh, what a guy! Portal
24 hours
next
later.
fucking day.
Yeah.
Now he did go to Kentucky. He did go to Kentucky,
Are
but
we back and better a little bit?
oh yeah, that's way better.
All right.
Oh
there
yeah,
you
way
go.
better. Let's go.
Cool.
Nice.
All right, we back in this thing. All right, now I gotta pour it out. So we'll edit this, clip it up, we'll make it rock for the Spotify folks and those who want to listen to the audio back. But Coach Polasek, yeah, he's got to get his metaphors, he's got to get his shit right. I mean, great coach, he knows what he's doing. He's trying to build a program. He's trying to bring the juice, right? Because as Brian said, if you're juiceless, you're useless. And so I think the funny thing is he's trying to reingratiate himself back into Missouri Valley Football Conference play, and he's been gone a while, right? Yeah. So it's like when we look at some aspects of trying to motivate the team, whatever works for your team, I guarantee you he would say is all that matters to him, and so he's going to rock with whatever he wants. That being said, I think we know who the king of motivation is when it comes down to these two coaches. And Brian, you're exactly right. It's fascinating to see. It's kind of like a UFC fighter when they get knocked out and they interview him. You had Calzada up there at the presser, pouring his heart and soul out. And I think a lot of times these young bucks need a little bit more media training, right? Like, don't be committal to too much, maybe don't overshare, because there's things you can't take back and then they live out in the ether forever. I say that while we have a damn podcast. So, what do I know? But at the same time, I think, I've made enough mistakes in my old ass right now, Scott as well, to where, we're fully aware of what we say when we say it. So I think, Stack, you'll revisit this and you'll probably double down on all your hatred for the furry cows. But I think I like to be a little more tempered because, they're a damn good program and we've been chasing them for a long time. So I think, the reality is they're going to be juiced for this. I mean, their crowd really only shows up for when we play them. If we're being frank, they only turn out for this. So it's kind of funny. Accuse your opponent of what you yourselves do. And that's exactly who they are. I mean, oh, this is your Super Bowl. Who only shows up for this game?
Right.
We're selling out against friggin' Augie. We're selling out against Augie. We're selling out against UIW. Go ahead, Scott.
No, that's absolutely true. I got some of my wife's family is from up there. They're pretty big Bison fans. And he's even a few years ago when they were starting to see some waning attendance, it was like, oh, whenever the Rabbits come up north, that's the only time where we're nervous and the only time we feel that. And this is probably 3-4 years ago now when he was telling me that. Wait, seems like maybe not opposite trajectories, but the disinterest is maybe growing a little bit. And yeah, well, wasn't there not a thankful board by any means, but there was a whiteboard posted of a picture in their locker room of a whiteboard, and it was like one of them was like big SDSU circled and like something like focus, or is really, really cheesy. But then one of them, there was actually Super Bowl written on it with a big circle around it. It's like, okay, well, I guess we're just going to own it now. So it couldn't be more true.
Yeah.
They take it seriously.
So the proof is in the pudding, as they say there.
Right.
And I think the point being is, like, I understand that there's fatigue from historical success and that kind of spills over into the mindset of the fans and things like that. But as Herm Edwards said, you play to win the game. Mm-hmm. So you got to throw all the chips out there. And if you want your crowd to back you, you got to do it more often, I would say. So they're going to do it on Saturday. And it'll be fun to watch. But to kind of circle back, I don't know that we've necessarily dived into the defense yet. So now would probably be a good time to kind of highlight defensively some things that I want to see transpire. Tackling being one of them. We started to elevate our play as it comes to tackling. The swarm is there. I learned a new word, so we can add it to the repertoire here. A husk of jackrabbits, as they were saying at Oklahoma State, and they said on the ESPN broadcast this past weekend. I thought that's cool, little husk of jackrabbits. There's been a husk, right? First guy's been tackling pretty well with authority. I don't know if you guys caught this. I thought it was absolutely hilarious, but Graham gave one of the UIW players the business on a play, stood him up, framed him up, ran his feet, put him on his back, and the kid was laying on his back, collecting his thoughts, reevaluating his life choices. They cut instantly to Bobbitt, and Bobbitt is laughing. And he's just like leaning in, kind of laughing. I was like, obviously he's not laughing that the kid's hurt. I think he's laughing at Graham's tenacity, because that's the Grambulance. That's the Grambulance, right, Stack?
Mm-hmm. And bro, I'm saying you're about to catch Graham with his back against the wall, per se, right? Like in a game where this could be his last game. One of the last people I want to play against is a Graham that may not ever put on a football helmet again. You know what I'm saying? Like that sounds terrifying. And I just have to get this thought out. This is one thing that we need to do for sure. Word of the day, contain, right? And middle push by whoever that nose is when you get the center. Like it literally, like that's the only thing that'll sometimes kind of like get me riled up, because like sometimes it's not about making the play, right? Like Cam Miller, he's gonna be looking to get out of there. Like he's gonna be looking to scramble for that first down. Like, and if you're that nose, bro, like sometimes you can't get off of that block. You're just gonna have to push that dude back there just to keep the pocket the way it is, so Cam Miller doesn't have anywhere to escape to. DNs as well, right? Like if I'm upfield and I really feel like I could counter and get in there and I might get a shot, like granted, okay, I'm not gonna tell nobody to not make a play, right? Yeah. But I'm saying like calculated risk, right? Like you need to keep that pocket where it is so Cam doesn't have anywhere to kind of run around and do his superheroics and look awesome because he's scrambling for 5 yards on, 3rd and 4.
But I mean, that's the savvy that he brings to the table. And I will say, I mean, his headiness when that does happen, looking to make a play and not get too greedy with it. Like his ball security is good when he's toting the rock downfield. He has great feel in the pocket. So I want to add one word to your word stack and hyphenate that bitch and call it collapse and contain. So we need to collapse from the interior pocket and then obviously pinch and get to equivalent depth. Because as you know, as interior linemen and DNs, when you get too far upfield is when you create those creases through that wide 9 gap that you can get out there. So we got to do that. We got to pursue, right? Because you never know what could happen downfield. And then aside from that, obviously has to be more than one hat that hits, right? And we have to obviously do a better job of containing Raja. Raja got off a little bit last time. Of course, we didn't have Tuck out there, so our coverages were a little bit different. We got to shout out Matthew Durant, though, for stepping up. I think personally, he had a good game against North Dakota State, but he's continued to elevate his play as he's gotten more run throughout the season. And that was a hell of a coverage scheme from Bobbitt and company on Saturday when he notched his pick, where they showed one. He rotated mid-play, snagged that ball, gave it a different look, confused Calzada, who's a great quarterback. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Can we do some of that to confuse Cam? He's seen pretty much everything, all these different exotic looks. He's about 29 years old playing ball. So, I mean, are we going to be able to force the moment to be too big for him? I mean, it has been in the past where he's made some mistakes with ball security, throwing it to the other team in situations that where he was under duress. So, hopefully we can do that. I think the big thing is here, gentlemen, the team that is able to mitigate the most self-inflicted wounds against very evenly matched competition like this, I think is the team that walks out with the dub, personally.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking that. And just to touch back on a little bit, I think that's not to foreshadow or anything, but I think Bryce Hawthorne's the X factor in this game.
Yeah.
He's in dime packages. He's the D tackle beside Jared. Whoever gets the center, I like both of them to middle push. I like both of them to win their one-on-ones in any matchup. I don't care which guard it is. And then to speak on Durant, I mean, Jimmy's been saying multiple times in his press conference that he thinks Durant is an all-American safety. He just doesn't think that Juice believes it yet. Right? And I think we see that confidence growing as his plays are elevated. So,
no, those are really good points. I'm curious to see, their offensive line's stout now. They've been doing a damn good job all year. And really, outside of the box sack in the previous game, we didn't get the kind of pressure with our front four that we would like to see. Right? I mean, I don't really remember him having to run out and escape the pocket too much, except for when he chose to right off the rip. Right? on that last drive of the game for them offensively in the initial matchup, that 5, 6, 7-yard scramble that he had, that was a big difference maker. I think it was on third and relatively short. That kind of kept the momentum of that drive going. And then we kind of got caught in some man situations I didn't like us in, but we kind of had to do it. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. If they can't run the ball, Cam's going to have to try to manufacture some, right? So
yeah,
that's kind of.
Go ahead, Scott.
All right, that's kind of what we were talking about earlier, where we're just playing a way different type of ball right now. Like earlier in the season, the D-line, it really wasn't going anywhere. It was stonewalling people. You couldn't run on us very well, but we really weren't getting that much push. We weren't getting into the pocket very much or really collapsing it like Stack was talking about. It was just we weren't going anywhere, so it was almost impossible to get that many rushing yards. But now we've been able to really kind of collapse that pocket a lot better as of late. And just the way we're playing, like firing on all cylinders, to use another cliche, it just everything seems like it is pointing in the direction of working out a lot differently this time around. So,
and I will say, as good as our D-line has played all year, I think they're doing a lot better job of, like we were saying, like the quarterback is there to be sacked. Right. Like, Brian, there's nothing worse than, having like $1 million move, right? And the QB sees you and he just escapes to his left or escapes to his right because the DN's like a mile upfield or he countered inside. I think they're doing a way better job of playing off of each other. And I think that's kind of why we're starting to see that production go up a lot more just because, like, like, let's say, like, when Bryce has his $1 million move or whatever, like, Jared's there middle pushing, so, like, there's nowhere for the quarterback to escape to. He sees him here, looks left, like, well, there's 3 offensive linemen and 2 defensive linemen right there. So there's nowhere for me to run to. And I feel like that's going to be – those are the kind of rushes we need, right? Like, you need to dominate your one-on-ones, like, whoever it is, whether it's, Logan, Wolfkill, Boone, Jared, Bryce. Like, you have to – if you get a one-on-one, like as Coach Smith would say, like, you can't be blocked if it's one-on-one, right? Like, unless you got 4 hands on you, you got to win there. And I think, these guys in this situation, they're definitely up to it. And I feel linebacking core has been balling. You know what I'm saying? So, Ransel, God, I don't know why that just reminded me of him, but his whole – I think when I first started to, like, pay attention to, like, how crazy he was going was kind of this game, bro. It was like watching, like a Rocky movie. Like, he would just not quit. Like, that dude just put it all out there on the field that game.
His blitz timing is incredible, and he's so fluid. He just gets where he needs to be, like, at the perfect time. He is so much fun to watch.
And, gentlemen, when we look at that and we consider their last opponent, Mercer was boasting one of the best rush defenses out there, correct? According to tail of the tape. Of course, you got to adjust for competition because it's not the Missouri Valley. They're not seeing the type of offensive arsenals that we are running into on a weekly basis. But, credit where it's due, they did bottle them up for a total of 133 rushing yards total. Now, Cam Miller went for 40 of those on his own. So when you look at that, can you mitigate that? Can you mitigate that variable in the rushing attack? Pinu, he only had 32 yards. And they were set up a lot of time with success in that game with great field position, right? When push comes to shove, who
I was
Cam
going to say that. I was like, did Kevin switch bodies with Kyle or what's going on here?
What do you say?
We were just shitting on Mercer last week. It's like, rush defense, are we really saying that? And then
Right. Hey, man,
Mercer had a great defense.
I'll start it out giving some love and then bring people back to reality a little bit, right? Got to. So Mecky Collins went off for them through the air last week, 119 receiving yards on 4 receptions. So he really made hay while the sun was out, or whatever cliche you want to choose there. Bryce Lance is their go-to guy for playmaker situations, right? Mm-hmm. He made some nifty grabs against us in the initial contest that were out of bounds. So we got to make sure we continue to force them to the sideline when they try to, get off deep over top, and use that to our advantage there as well. Make sure that there's not room in between the hash and the boundary to be able to snag, steal some catches and move the chains. Braylon Henderson is still in the picture, 3 snags for 20 yards, but really they bottled him up well. Mercer couldn't manufacture any type of offensive rhythm to save their lives, though. They were starting a true freshman quarterback. He looked the type, but the moment was too big for him. And so I think, that played into it a lot. McGee, their running back, he's a big body dude, but Miller was their guy, CJ Miller, 4 rushes for 58 yards. I saw him really get good work in on Saturday, and that lent itself to some really encouraging and promising signs for Jacks as they go into this game, because they're looking at off tackle runs, couple cuts, 1 cut here, just pretty simple stuff, getting off the edge and getting upfield. So there is opportunity there for us. I'm curious again to see, before my mic got all choppy, what type of scheme we're going to roll out with. Are we going to adhere to a good script on the first series and start hot? Because there does need to be balance. I do think they practice hard on defense just like we do. And I think, they're going to be looking to fill. So can we use that to our advantage and use their flow against them? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see on Saturday.
So, yeah, they're kind of Mercer's kind of getting off on like those off tackle kind of runs. So, like, and we have the backs for that, guys with speed, that can kind of, like, Angel's a dude, like, he's a home run hitter, right? Like, he has the speed to outrun a good angle sometimes, right? So, I mean, not to make him just like, like almost have it like a tell where it's like, oh, like Angel's in, like, this one's hidden, like, this is outside zone, this one's hidden off tackle bumps in, like, to have that kind of end, like, in the back of your head, like, all right, like, if we're going to hit it outside, like, Angel's got the speed to kind of make this thing happen. But
Stack, you hit the nail on the head a couple weeks ago when we were kind of being affectionately critical of the offensive running game. I think Amar and Angel have started to progress a lot better. And with the addition of Kirby and Maxwell Woods in the rotation, I think it's been really pivotal to not just run the damn ball, but run the damn ball downhill. And I did not like the way they ran the ball in the first game. I thought they were a bit too patient. I thought it allowed for too much seepage. I don't think our offensive line was staying on hats long enough. I think that what we need to do in this game is 1 cut downhill, get live north and south real quick.
Yeah,
and, move the pile.
Get your 3 or 4.
This ain't going to be huge creases, right? This is two of the best rush defenses in the land, right?
Mm-hmm.
The real best rush defenses in the land. Kevin, you know what I'm talking about, all right? So I think when push comes to shove, who wants it more? It's just going to be who wants it more. And if they want to swim, sharks don't sleep, right? So
yeah, and I feel like our offensive line I feel like they've got a bone to pick with these dudes, right? Because they've been honestly like the best kind of rusher. We've been the best rushing group all year. You know what I mean?
They made
like
our O-line look soft. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
They made our O-line look soft.
And I'm positive that these guys are coming in there like how we played last game. Like, I know Coach Olsen's telling them, like, I hope that's not who you guys are. And if that's not who you guys are, like, let's go show North Dakota State who the 2023 was it? Is it 24 this year? Oh God, sorry. It says CTE kicking in. The 2024 Jackrabbit offensive like 605 Hogs look like. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that they have a bone to pick with that one guy who's trying to fight Mark for some reason. For one, like I don't know what Buddy was on, bro. I'm not even going. I'm not going to give him.
That's because it's demoralizing when your backup quarterback rushes for 70 on you and houses it, and then does the Costco guy dance, right? So I get it. I understand. Emotions run hot. Speaking of emotions, I think all eyes are going to be obviously on the 2 quarterbacks in this situation. If you haven't checked out Tanner Castora's piece that he did on the recruitment of Mark and Cam, I found it fascinating. It really is interesting how the FCS is recruited and Group of 5 and FBS in general. Stack and I have talked about it, but for those who don't know, you get offers, legitimate committable offers, and then there's a lot of guys at the same position that are offered, and you're in a queue, and certain guys don't commit, and then they shuffle around, and I don't think you can take it personal, but you just have to make the most of your opportunities. And in Mark's situation, he certainly did that. And Mark is an absolute gamer, right? He's 10-0 in the playoffs. It's truly a team effort, but he seems to play his best when all the chips are in the middle of the table. And I think when you look at Mark in the previous matchup, there was a lot of juice. There was too much juice. He might have been too amped up. His feet were a little happy in the pocket. And I don't think that was necessarily by design or a function of necessarily too much what the D-line was doing. But we didn't see the tight shot, so it was tough to tell. But I think sometimes he was maybe leaving a decent pocket early. And then again, that's on the receivers, man. They got to get open. I want to see what they do. Everybody's challenge this week, right? The ante is up. They've got to come to play, and they've got to find the void. They got to get open. They got to win in man. They got to win off the line of scrimmage. The Bison defense is going to try to get in their face because honestly, they probably think that they're more athletic than them. And so
and I will say too,
over the top. No, you're good.
Like for our receivers too, I'd say one of the biggest differences from I'd say last year to this year, right, is for our receiving core. Like the Yankees were springing runs, like they were springing 10-yard runs that would turn into 30. Like with their blocking downfield. And like, that's what the difference is in a game like this, right? Like if you're Griffin Wilde, like, yes, like you are him, right? Like when you're back there and you're catching balls, like you're going nuts, but like you make your money in games like this by running. Like when the ball's going, you're headhunting that dude, right? Because like this is the guy that saves like the home run play and then gives a very solid defense a chance, right? From like the 25 instead of like touchdown or like the 1.
No block, no rock, baby. No block, no rock.
Yeah. So for our receivers, you gotta help spring these runs, right? Like you're an integral part to this, right? I know a lot of people thinking like, oh, it's just our O-line's that good. We had Mason McCormick last year, and that's why, like, no, the Yankees were putting in work downfield where some of those runs that were 15 turned to 40.
Yep. Tight ends
legitimate NFL receivers, right? Yep. Tight ends too, Scott. Exactly. So you look at Zach Hines, he's an extension of the O-line. And obviously a wingspan that's unparalleled. So when you look at, the first matchup as well, everything needs to be taken within context of the whole. Ryan, I believe Effling mentioned this and hit the nail on the head. We had so many damn penalties in the first matchup. Playbook shrinks. You get happy feet in the pocket. I mean, it was kind of a cascade of events. It didn't lend itself to creating an established rhythm. And when you're on the road in a hostile environment, nothing silences a crowd more than rhythm in executing, right? When you need to. So my keys would be win on first down, right? Generate some type of explosive plays throughout the game. Doesn't have to be a ton. In a game like this, you could see that if we didn't shoot ourselves in the foot in the first matchup, that run by Chase could have been all of it, right? We can't drop the ball on a damn perfect punt snap. We can't be mental midgets with me errors. We have to execute when PAT field goal gets onto the field. We have to let our nuts drop, and we can't be soft in the trenches and allow someone to block a PAT and subsequently, miss field goals when those points are on the board to be had.
Yeah, and I believe that, I will say the Jacks, this Jacks football team, right? Like the last few years, like you've had a chance to do every single Jacks team the past 4 or 5 years have had a chance to do something that's never been done before, right, at the university. And it's always, cool and novel when it's like going to the first national championship, winning the first one, then going back to back for the first time. Like this time, like this Jacks team has a chance to avenge a lot of former Jacks football players, right? Like I could think of 2018 when we beat them in the regular season, then went up there and got 400 rushing yards dropped on us by Easton Stick and those guys. Like, you don't think that they're thinking that they're going to do the same thing? Like, they're thinking like, bro, this last game was too close. Probably like that's what their coaches probably telling them. The Jacks have never gone there in the playoffs and won. And like, you have a chance to go in there and put fear into whoever you're going to play the week after that, right? With the performance you put on that night. And like, even with Mark going to, what is it, tying Easton Stick's record, or
he already is tied.
He's already tied it.
Yep.
Yeah. So like to go in there and
shout out Mark. Fucking offered by Married Death and Blind to tying the record. Okay, for FCS wins. I mean,
incredible. Scott, you want to highlight and tell the people where he's at and where he stands with that and what
he's got 49 right now, right? And that is Easton Stick's record. To take the FCS record, obviously he's got to win. The what would I say? The poetic justice here would be to, put a notch in the win column in Fargo in the playoffs, which 2014, 2016, 2018. I think those are all the most recent ones that we haven't gotten. He could do that while getting his 50th FCS win, breaking Easton Stick's record, and tying the overall record. I think wasn't there a guy, FBS guy? I can't remember who it was that has 50, but then having the opportunity to go to Frisco and have the D1 record himself. There's so many storylines for Mark versus Cam, I suppose, that could really take center stage on Saturday.
Right. And that's well put. I think, when push comes to shove, this is all for the fans because a win is a win is a win. And I think the coolest thing about that is it's a chance to do it when not a lot of people have done it. Right. For us, we get wrapped up in those storylines because it creates some of that pageantry, some of that magic at our level that you don't necessarily see often. I think the Montana matchup, Brawl of the Wild, and I'm sure Kevin will throw out some Southern matchups, but really there's no matchups other than those two big ones.
It's the Ivy Leagues now.
And you know what?
Okay.
You know what? Yeah,
Ivy.
Shout out to the Ivy for throwing their hat in the ring. They're going to be in the FCS playoffs coming up. So I can just imagine, I doubt it'll run through the Ivies for a while, but you never know. They could have a string and get some good non-conference wins and host some games in the playoffs, which would be epic to go out to, obviously, Harvard and some schools like that and check it out.
That'd be sweet. Go play in a big ass empty stadium.
Yeah,
nothing better.
Somewhere that me and Stat could have never played.
It's like, they. It's like, this seat's actually 3 million. Like, I'm glad all 4 people showed up today.
Anyways, I'm hyped that they're in it. They're trying to add a little gravitas to the subdivision, so I'm excited for it. Dartmouth had a good, they play good quality ball. They're disciplined. They're a bunch of nerds. That's why people aren't showing up, Stack. They're studying. They're studying to go in finance and make a real difference in the world. Because God knows we need more people in friggin' finance. Brian, I'm not taking shots.
Brother.
But the reality is, gentlemen, this is the lore of the FCS, right here. You got a chance to either play Montana State at South Dakota State in the playoffs when they ended our season in 2021. Lots of juice, lots of excitement surrounding that. You got people hurling snowballs in the air under the lights at night, absolutely frigid cold in the tundra outside where football is meant to be played. And then now you have an opportunity to go play climate-controlled environment. There's going to be great shots on the field from ABC's crew. This is a nationally televised game at 11 o'clock, so that'll be excellent to watch, 11 o'clock Central. Just the absolute storylines write themselves for this bad boy. The last team to unseat North Dakota State in the playoffs was 2017 or 16.
JMU.
And it was JMU. They're not even any longer in the subdivision. So I think it's, this is the true blue bloods and cream of the crop of the subdivision. So with all that being said, it'll be interesting to see what version shows up. Is this the mature Jacks team that's ready for the challenge? Is it a team in North Dakota State that's burgeoning, trying to regain its footing as the class of the subdivision? It'll be really fascinating to see. And I know that there's going to be a lot of Jacks faithful there. Like Jim is going to be there. He's got his tickets. There's going to be a contingent getting hyped and getting loud, getting that "Let's Go Rabbits" chant going. So it'll be fun to see, man.
Jim, I'm going to need you to talk crazy to him, bro. Don't get yourself in trouble. Don't get I'm not saying you'll get beat up or nothing like that, but I'm saying bro, I'm going to need you to talk crazy, insane. Let him have it. If you there and you a Jacks fan, bro, don't let them have no good time. Like, don't be giving them no high fives. Like, yeah, see you next year. Like, no, pal, right here, buddy. I'll see you later.
Love that. Zach's just out here being a bad influence on Jim. Jim, we love you. Have fun. Get loud. 39 tickets. God. That's a stud right there.
Oh, yeah, you got a squad, bro. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, now you're good. Jim's going to be in, a friendly mix there.
Yeah, talk crazy, bro. What you mean?
Yeah, you got that. Let's get them going. They can't stop a mob. They can't stop a mob. It'll be incredible. Just want to point out here, this might have been the last time Citadel was any good. 2016. Shout out, Kev.
Not a decade ago.
In 2016.
They still out fundraise us though. That pisses me off. It'll be really cool to kind of catch also glimpses of the fam, because no matter how this game plays out, seniors are done. Seniors that play some good ball. Stack, you're gonna have to do earmuffs or mute yourself or something here because I'm gonna be nice. North Dakota State, they're a hell of a program, but those seniors are either going to be done or they're moving on. It's either going to be the Jacks family seniors who are, hugging and taking pictures at the end of this thing. And we all know how that feels, man. So they dedicate so much time and so much devotion to the game that you're literally married to the game if you're playing at this high of a level this late in the season. And I think now is the time the Jacks are hitting their stride with health. Getting Goring back, getting Chase Mason back. O-line looks to be healthy and clicking. Q's doing better. Obviously, you got Hicks stepping up and being a real good addition to that rotation this year. Like you said earlier, Brian, Hawthorne is an X factor. He's just a young pup. Don't know where his ceiling is. Is this a game where he has a coming out party big time and with authority? We don't know. You look at DePriest. He has pro ball in his future of some sort. He's playing with house money too. This could be the last ride. You never know how that's going to shake out in pre-draft or anything like that. Who's going to have the need? Because as you know, it's such a business at the professional level. Who's got the need is where you end up sometimes. And a lot of times they might not find you. So now's an opportunity when the lights are brightest to put your stamp on your legacy in blue and white. Which reminds me, I'm really curious to see what kind of threads they rock. Are they going to go a little bit different? Add a little new energy to the mix here. What do we think?
What do you think, Brian? I don't know. Because we do have that combo we were at UND where it's like blue helmet, white, blue, white, blue. Those blue helmets are tough.
I kind of like that blue, white, blue look. I think
those look great on national TV.
Hey, how dope would it be if they went yellow? How dope would it be if they went? I loved all white too, but how dope would it be? Hear me out. This is kind of a shot in the dark. I don't think they'll roll with it, but you never know. The old rabbit blue helmet, the yellows, and the white.
There's no chance. We haven't touched those yellows, and I don't.
They're wearing yellow. That would be an epic gamesmanship move. They're wearing yellow.
No, I mean, I would love it. Like that was one of the things that I thought was like I was always waiting for. I'm like, all right, we're gonna wear these yellows one time, but no, those are. I mean, that's a pipe dream, though. I think that would be sweet, though.
Those fools wear all green. I think they're going to come out in all green, but yeah, it'll be interesting. That's just me trying to be interesting for the fans here. I do think it'll be blue, white, blue. That's what I'm going with.
But those are tough, though. Like I love those uniforms, and the all blue is just crispy.
I mean, it'll never happen either. I want to see all black, though. All black in the Fargodome one day would be sick.
Oh yeah, that would be tough.
Yeah.
Fans would lose their nuts though. They think it's some
kind of
superstitious or
that's
whatever.
Because they're all in their feels, man. Like, they get anxious like the jerseys actually make the play.
We beat Montana State in them jerseys at home.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, for real. No,
second
really,
game of the year when we didn't know what we had. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly.
Wait, did you guys play them twice last year, Brian? Montana State?
No.
Yes.
No, just
okay. All right.
In the beginning of the season.
Okay.
Remember they shit down their leg and lost to NDSU at home when they had no business losing.
Oh yeah,
that was funny. PAT.
That was funny.
They had no kicker last year, but I will say this: whoever wins this game, we should pivot because we're running high on time here. But I wanted to get some of this stuff in since you guys made some time and our fans graciously did as well. We should talk about the other side of the bracket a little bit here before we get into predictions, but. Are we going to see the Cats or are we going to see the Yotes? Surprisingly,
I'm really praying that it's not USD. Like that would make me sick to my stomach. Like y'all know what I mean? Where it's like,
yes,
I'll be the hater on the pod, bro. I hope they never make it this far ever again. Like the fact that this far just makes me sad. I hope Montana.
Sure.
I hope Tommy Malott come out there on his touchdown Tommy time and just go insane.
I hope he absolutely shreds them.
Yep.
Especially because Josh Davis's first interview with USD or whatever, he was like, I was in Frisco and I was just imagining the Kyle Logan. No, the fuck you weren't.
God. Yeah, like,
you know what I'm saying?
You don't want the job that bad, do you? You're gonna lie to us.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie.
It must have been after he was drunk, you know, at partying. You know, I don't know.
They're a lot better under his tutelage, and
they are.
He definitely did a lot for the Jacks. So I mean, I can't hate on a guy for grabbing a bag. I think that's messed up that he went to USD, but you got to go where the opportunity is sometimes. And that opportunity is going to be right back in Vermillion after this week. So I think Montana State's going to get it done. I will say this. I watched that Idaho game. I think their offensive line from a run the ball standpoint, my God, like they are moving bodies now. Yep. They're moving bodies, and they're going to be a problem for any team that they see. And, you know, we throw a little bit of shade here and there at the Big Sky, but they're not – that's a Missouri Valley team playing in the Big Sky.
I was going to say they're built more like us and NDSU than anybody
Well, we
else.
made them have to start doing that after we started like giving them the beans. You know what I'm saying? They're like, we're going to have to beat.
And the interesting thing about it is Stack, you brought it up off pod when we were chatting after one of the pods that we did on the live streams, where we wrecked them for like 4 consecutive years when they were still trying to get their momentum and establish themselves as a resurging power in the subdivision. Then they kind of hit that stride with Vegan as he got his schemes and stuff implemented in his recruits. Obviously, he wants to establish the run and run a little play action off of it. I will say this, you know, you talk about Mark, you talk about Cam Miller, but he's, you know, Tommy Malott is quietly becoming a more complete quarterback. I don't think he's necessarily just a 50-50 ball guy anymore. I think he took that personally, and he's definitely distributing the rock. So, and that Adam Jones, man, is a problem. Like, he's a big boy, runs behind his pads, and that's what I want to see Kirby do on Saturday, because that really pissed me off. I mean, I know we were like 1st and 15 or 2nd and 12 and, you know, 2nd and 8, and that's not a time to really establish power run consistently. So this game, I want us ahead of the sticks and being able to do that, which should lead us right into score predictions, gentlemen, for the Montana State game and USD, and then we'll dive into players of the game for us.
Oh, Montana State. I'm going to go like 45-21.
I want to say the spread was like, was it 10 or 8.5? Yeah.
10 now?
I think it was 8. It was 8.5 at one point. I think I did see it jump up to 10.
Yep. So it's somewhere in that range, 8 to 10 points. I'll go next since we were just talking about it. I'm going to say 31-21. 31-20. They got a decent defense. I'm going to go 31-21 Montana State. What do you got, Brian?
I was going to say 35-17 Montana State.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If I want to pick something a little unique, I keep getting my score stolen here. All right. Let's 34-21. I think they end up covering, but it's close late. Montana State gets it done at home. Big play late.
Covering on the overall total?
Yeah. Well, what's the spread, right?
Well, the spread is 10. So 34-21.
34-21, right?
That'd be 13. Oh, they covered. So, got you. I got you.
Yeah, but I'm gonna keep it a bean though. Like all those people that say, like, oh well, all South Dakota championship would be good for the state. And like, no, we don't care, gang. we look.
It's
we
been great
South
for the
Dakota.
state without them. I don't know what they're talking about. It's been great for the state without them.
I say, we do not care, gang. I want to see them. I want to see their season crash and burn. I'm a real hater. Y'all ain't never met no one that hates like me.
Yeah, so the line, the spread is 3 for us. Moving over to us, the total is 48.5. I think that's about right. Vegas tends to get it pretty good. I think when we look at players of the game for me on the offensive side of the ball, I am going to go Mark. I know it's not the, wild card pick, but I think that if it's to be done, it's to be done through him. And I think he shows the poise. I think he's able to calm the nerves. I think he's able to quiet the voices and get it done no matter how he needs to, whether it's on the ground with his own legs, whether it's finding the open guy or creating the play through extension or just running the offense. I think he does a good job.
I'm going to go Dave Alpers just because he's been letting his nuts hang the past couple of weeks. And I just feel like he brings that grit, that we like to see. And I hope he pulls out a little Mercer action there at the end.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
The best thing the SoCons offered the past few years was the celery. So,
yeah, and I do like the fact that he's not afraid to mix it up in blocking as well. And you can't spell athlete without a TE, so that's good. What do you got, Stack?
I gotta go with the 605 Hogs because our offense is gonna have to live and die with what they do and how they decide to come out and play. And I feel like I think the Jacks got a chance to win big Saturday if they come out and play some football. That starts with these guys. So
they can get greedy. We've controlled the flow of games in the past. In 2020, in 2023. So it's there. Scott, what do you got?
Biggest thing, stop the run and establish the run yourself. Amar is he's really come on. Angel has too, but Amar has really taken a lot of that responsibility and literally run with it. He's had a really good back end of the season. I'm going with him.
Yeah, I like that pick. And, can he channel his inner 2022 Fargodome performance? Can he recapture that magic, that vision, that calm of not knowing any better and just doing it? That's what I want to see on Saturday. So let's move it into score predictions. Again, the line is 3 in favor of the Jacks in terms of the spread.
Defense?
Oh, yeah, we got to pick defenses. Let's all just say Hunter for special teams. I'm just praying. That last time I was a fluke.
You're right. You're right. I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to see these points, but Hunter, defensively, I guess I'll kick it off. I'm not going to do the one. I'll leave one on the table for one of you other guys because you know what I'm thinking in my head. I'm going to go Durant's. I think that he has to step up, make it a no-fly zone on the back end.
Scott, we know you're going to say Scott. Say it.
Say it, Scott.
Say it.
Oh, T-Large?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we knew you had him, man.
Put you a little shit. He's going to go nuts, man. I'll take it. Yeah. Someone had to.
Right.
Hucker Large got his pick.
I'm saying Adam Bach because he owns fucking Solon, Iowa. All right. I'm just saying.
Hey, there we go.
Listen, you got to be out your mind if you don't think I'm taking Jared DePriest. Out of your mind.
There we go, fellas. There we go. With honorable mention, Ryan Francel in there for sure, because he's going to make his presence known in some way, shape, or form. Would not be surprised if he takes it as well. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see us be so greedy on the defensive side of the ball that we don't know who to pick at the end of the day. So as far as who made the plays when they matter most. Now, since I'm so twitchy and fidgety, getting into the points, 48.5 is the total. 3 in favor of the Jacks is where it stands right now. I think it's going to be 27-20. Good guys.
I'll steal Mason McCormick. Shout out Mason. He said 31-13. And I think, they play a clean game. Don't turn over the ball, possess the ball, run the ball. I know they can. I think that's very doable.
I take 27-10, Jacks.
I like it.
The standard. That's the standard.
Ooh, good.
I like
that's
that.
The standard, Brian.
Hey.
I'm going to go with this. Probably a little cheesy, a little corny, but The exact same score as Mark's first trip to the Fargodome, 27-17.
I like it.
Good guys, of course.
Paying homage.
I like
Paying homage. That's excellent. Ryan Effling in the chat here has 24-14. Good guys. I like it. A lot of these are going to be in range, I think. I think you see a 7 to 10 point victory. Hopefully for the good guys. I believe in it. I feel it. The momentum, the mojo, the poise, the focus, right? Focus finish is a big mantra for Coach Rogers, dating all the way back to the Stig era. I think that's what we do to get it done. I think everybody knows what job they have to do. I like that it's at a similar time slot as we had last week.
Mm-hmm.
And, this is it. This is it, gentlemen. So I'm excited. For all you who are listening, thank you so much for tuning in and bearing with us through our technical difficulties. Hopefully we got you some good content for the evening. And then, of course, shout out to our sponsors yet again, the Wild Hair of Brookings, South Dakota. Make sure you check them out. They're opening at 10 a.m. They have drink specials. So make sure you hydrate, talk all the smack you want while you're there. And then in Fargo, Jim, you better get them going. 39 people in your section, in your area.
You got to let them feel you, Jim.
Let's get it
You
rocking.
gotta let them feel you.
Quiet that Fargodome for us. Turn it up against them. Let's get it. And then want to shout out Cottonwood Coffee. Make sure you get caffeinated so you can bring the juice. Because like Brian said, if you ain't got juice, you're useless. I butchered that, but that's all good. And with that, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Go big. Go blue. Go Jack.
Jax.